Welcome, welcome to your short class on creating energetic alignment in your being, in your body. My name is Sofia, and I share about elemental medicine, the elements fire, air, earth, and water, and how they can bring you into alignment. And so I do share, different specific classes on here and card readings for different aspects of life. And I often like to talk about how, psychosomatic connections, how your body ailments connect to your life. And with that, I also like to share, and this is this presentation here, the inspiration for it, that if your body is feeling physically all good, you maybe don't have any pain or discomfort or ailments, but you still feel like your energy could be more vibrant, you could be a bit better, and this is something that really caught my attention when I started out on this journey of looking for alternative healing, of energy healing in general. That I went to a general practitioner and I got the green light, the thumbs up, everything's all good. And I went, actually it was interesting, I went before I traveled to India for 3 months, and just to kind of I had lots of medical stuff to prepare for that trip. And then when I came back, I lost so much weight, and I'd learned so much about energy through different healers that I'd met in India. And I just kind of got the go ahead, like, yep, you're good when I came back. But I just felt like so off, and like there was definitely more that could be done after having those experiences. So yeah, if you're feeling all physically good, and you've nothing technically wrong with you, there's still potential for you to feel vibrant and for you to channel more life force energy, really, is what it culminates to, in my perception. And the elements are super helpful with that journey because, whatever about using the elements to balance out physical ailments, it's a whole nother level to balance out energetic ailments or energetic alignment because we can't see it. So we really have to start trusting more our feelings in the body, our sensations in the body, the intuition about what you're feeling, because we can't see the change. We can't really feel it in a more like gross way, in a more like larger way. The energetic pattern is more subtle. And so if you're here, I feel like that's what you're aligning with, and that's what this class is going to be diving into, and how the elements can help you with that. As I mentioned there, this is very much the deeper roots of healing, going into different sensations that are not the obvious ones, going in deeper into yourself. So when we look at that and when we start to explore energy, there is a question of, well, how does the energy manifest into the physical realm? Because when we actually understand and sense energy in our energy field and our thoughts and just kind of external to our physical being, we can actually heal the energetic frequency pattern before it becomes in the physical realm. And what that translates to, for example, is like if you had really difficult things like eating at you, and energies that were just growing out of control, you can feel them in your energy field, you can see them in the relationships in your life, and you rectify that on an energetic level before it comes into your body, then you can avoid getting things like cancer or systemic inflammation, things that really spread around the body, and spread around our lives. So when we become aware of the energy, then we can start to rectify it so that we don't have to have the full physical experience. And how this manifests is that we have these energy frequencies around us. We have these energy frequencies within us from our DNA, from our ancestry, from our soul history. There's a lot of information coming through. However, our energy in the present moment, our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, the boundaries that we have, all of these inform if the energy patterns will be triggered. So, for example, if you have an ancestral pattern of womb trauma that makes birthing very difficult, if you do the healing to cleanse that energy during pregnancy or even before pregnancy, then you have the opportunity to experience a different birth because the physical has changed, because you've changed the energetic patterns, you've released the trauma. And we can start to really play with the interchange between the energy and the physical when we go into these types of levels. of healing. And this is how we get to the deeper roots. This is how we get to the deeper answers as well. And ultimately, that is how we come into alignment. And that is why I find that people who want to come into alignment are the people that are quite dedicated to understanding a lot about themselves, a lot about the topic, their energy in general, because it's it's a deep dive to really start to have the levels of sensitivity to energy that are required to embark on that kind of journey. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely obviously that kind of person. So if you're watching this, yes, definitely my tribe for sure, because it's not everyone that wants to go to these levels, and it's a fascinating level to go to, and I don't think everyone needs to, but it's I find it just absolutely fascinating. And with that, we have polarity. So I wanted to go into that deeper level of, where is the deeper levels of alignment reside. And then as we come into the world, we have polarities. And that informs our understanding of how energetic alignment arises. The reason why I put this in, the deeper roots of things are obviously so important so that we can align things. But then also, if we're going to the deeper roots of things, the deeper roots of ourselves, we have to be willing to look at all parts of ourselves. And this is something that I've noticed with clients, with people in life, with myself. I've noticed that when I'm not open to seeing everything and taking everything in, this is when I'm unable to come into alignment with myself. As we go into polarities, by accepting all that is, we can see more clearly, embracing the light and dark, right and wrong. It is only through polarity that we can understand energetic alignment. And why I share that is to come into the perspective that the only reason why we know things are out of alignment is because we know the experience of them being in alignment. It's the both sides that we need. And we can see this by the fact that in the nervous system, we actually can't feel anything in the body. We don't feel anything. The only thing we feel is friction. When there is friction coming up against the body, then that provides the sensation. And same with ailments in the body, blockages, discomforts, create sensation because we have something that's out of flow. Because when everything is completely in flow, it's completely in alignment, we don't actually feel anything. We're just in a flow state. And we can see this in a physical sense, through if you don't have any pain or discomfort in your body, you don't feel anything. You don't, you just go about your day. Where if you have pain in a position, then you start to move and act in a different way. And we can also see it very clearly in the mind space, when people talk about the flow state of the mind, where literally we lose the concept of time, we lose the concept of our physical spaces because we're just completely in flow with art, writing, creativity, or some sort of, focused task. And we come into that flow state. And then again, we lose all senses or points of friction with our reality, like how much time has passed or am I hungry. We just go into this non-sensory space in a way, and we flow and channel these energies, and it feels really good. Like it feels amazing to be able to be in that energetic alignment state. However, it's only possible because we are, coming in and out of it. And, both are important, to be noticing when we're in alignment, when we're out of alignment, and not to be too harsh on either one being good or bad. And to start to see this polarity, to see the light and the dark and not associate or attach to either one, what that gives you is a very deep understanding of the full picture. Because if you are attached or you only like things to be a certain way, you feel like you're in alignment when you're all cozy meditating in a nice warm room. But then if you're waiting in the queue and your plane's about to leave, and you're stressed out of your head, it's like we have to find ways to not associate so much with these polarities of situations. We can come back to that center within ourselves. And that's where the energetic alignment can be manifested, and we can manifest them more easily when we can see polarities for what they are and just see them as polarities. It's like seeing blue and green. It's not good or bad, it's just one is blue and one is green. And that's how, when we start to associate energy in that way, that's when we can come into energetic alignment with more ease, because there's less attachment, there's less blame and shame and emotional dysregulation when it comes to that, which all sounds quite intense, but this is why I like to bring it home to the body, to bring it home to self, and to make these concepts a little bit more close to home in many ways. So taking a moment to align your awareness of what feels misaligned in your life with a place in your body. This might seem kind of strange if you've never done it before, and it's really a practice that is quite profound and interesting, to close your eyes and think of the misaligned part of your life. This could be a part of your body that you're sensing it in, and it could be also related to, where you could just think about a misaligned part of life, like maybe your car is broken down, or your friendships aren't going the way you wanted to, or you're trying to become pregnant and you can't. So just thinking about these things obviously is going to be different for everyone watching, but just closing the eyes and sensing into the body. Well, where do I feel that in my body? And I've asked this question to people many times. I love this question, and it's fascinating because they look at me like, I don't understand what you mean. But then when they have to intuitively answer, the answer that comes through just brings that healing home, brings that point of awareness home of what is needed to align themselves in their life. And when we take on this approach, when we breathe into that connection of the body, we can no longer avoid the sense of responsibility that we have to align our own lives. And this takes us out of victimhood mentality. It takes us out of like feeling like the universe has done us bad, or, is not listening to us. It just comes right home in a nice, gentle way to the body. So notice that for yourself if you feel called to write it down. The connection with the body is quite vast. This is a simple way of connecting with it, this concept. This is a whole month that I share in the Elemental Medicine School, 4 weeks to connect in with fire, air, earth, and water. We take an element each week to tune into the body so that you can start to understand the language of the body and what it means that your friendships connect to your heart, or, your situation connects to your abdomen, and how that can be interpreted as a language through the elements, because they are that ancient wisdom. The language of the body is quite symbolic. It doesn't speak English so much. So the elements help us to bridge that gap and to teach us. So if you're interested in learning more about the Elemental Medicine School, you can check out the link in the description box below and hear more about how other people experience that for their journey. We'll touch on the elements here as well, just so you get an idea of how that works and how that flows for energetic alignment for this short class here. So for air, we have the throat and the heart chakra coming into energetic alignment with the throat and the heart. A lot of this energetic alignment, the reason why I mentioned polarities, is that we see the light and the dark of each element. Also, the polarities of the elements. So with the air element, a lot of it within the mind space, within the stories of the mind, the thoughts that we have, they can be a little bit difficult at times. And then in the light space, we have a heart-centered approach, dropping, obviously the mind and the logic are so helpful, but they can become quite distorted by our concepts of reality and other people's opinions. When we merge that thought space with the heart space, we connect in with our truth, with our soul, and with our feelings. And this is when we get a really nice balanced light side of air, where we speak our truth, we feel good in our thoughts, we're loving in our thoughts. And then this comes out of our throat, and the throat is a very powerful point of creation. And that does create a lot in our physical realities around us. And I'll link below actually a blog article that dives into that, called Speaking to the Universe, and how the air element affects your universe as if you're speaking to the fabric of the universe. And every time you use your voice, it shifts the fabric of the universe. So I'll link that blog below if that interests you to dive a bit deeper. The way to come into alignment with this chakra and with this element is to speak your truth. And I want to emphasize an interesting point here about coming or being in alignment. Mostly coming into alignment is that some people are like, oh, I want to come into alignment. That's going to feel really good. And yes, being in alignment feels great. Coming into alignment, however, can feel quite tumultuous, because it just shakes up a lot in life. So for example, if you were just keeping yourself quiet, you were just listening to the voices in your head that were like, don't speak your truth, you're not worthy of that, or people will leave you. And that's many people, and that's, you know, how communities work in many ways. But yes, if you're listening to those thoughts and then you decide, okay, well, I want to come into alignment, I'm now going to speak my truth. Of course, it is going to change so much about your life. It could change your job, your friend connections, your family connections. So that change can be quite a bit, you know, and that is just to be aware of that coming into alignment can feel a little bit, yeah, just like a lot. So just take care of yourself through that journey as you come into alignment. And I feel, for me anyway, knowing that it's going to be a little bit, um, yeah, just different and a lot of change. If I was, you know, prepared for that, then I'm more likely to continue on. Where if we just think it's always going to feel good, again, we're coming back to those polarities. We expect it to feel good. It doesn't feel good. We quit. And sometimes when we actually just expect it to be a little bit difficult, we're more likely to stick with it for longer. And that's an interesting thing about alignment. For fire, we have the chakra of the solar plexus, focusing in on the stomach area. And to emphasize here that the chakras are at the front and the back of the body. The front of the body representing the energy moving forward in your life, and the back representing more about your past and how the energy feels about your past. So that can give you some insight around where your ailments are. If you're feeling a stomach issue, it's about the future. If you're feeling more of a spine issue in the mid-back, it's more about the past in regards to your fire, which is connected to your soul. So we start to interweave, and you can get the idea here about how the body connection module in the school works and how it interweaves into your life. How you can align your solar plexus, your fire energy, is by living your soul purpose. And I start with the air because obviously speaking about your purpose, speaking your truth is the first step, at least to yourself, or channeling some sort of expression of self, like a Pinterest board even, or some painting or some writing. And then you can start to see, well, okay, this is how speaking my truth, these are the people that it aligns me with. It's aligning me with this project. And then we start to see, okay, well, this is actually my soul purpose. This is how I want to live my soul purpose. By living our soul purpose, what that means is doing what lights you up, doing what brings you joy, what feels good. When you are feeling good with what you're doing and you're seeing, you know, light reflected back at you, happiness, joy reflected back at you from what you share with the world, this is when you know you are in alignment with your soul purpose. It doesn't feel like you're working. It just feels good. It feels exciting, and it feels energizing. Coming into alignment with the water element, we have the sacral chakra. Feeling safe and good in your being, in your emotional body. This is getting into the heavier energies. With the fire in the air, it can be quite fast paced. With water, it's a little bit slower. So we get more into the slow paced aspects of life when we come into water and earth. What I mean by this is that, you know, your thoughts move very quickly, for example, with the air element, but then we come into the water and we come into relationships, you know, emotional connections with people. And of course, they take a bit longer to create over time. And they obviously get better over time, the more time we put in. So feeling safe and good in your being is how the alignment of water comes into place. And this is really important for, you know, you may want to be feeling good emotions in your being. Obviously, that's always nice to feel good emotions. And we'll focus on the polarities there once more of just when we only like the good emotions, it can shut us off from alignment. Where if we're open to feeling suffering, grief, joy, love, like all the emotions, this is really when we get into a flow state and alignment with the water in the being. But the only way that we can open to that full spectrum of emotion is when we feel safe. And that comes in with your boundaries, your masculine energy protecting you. When you have your soul purpose, you know what it is. It's much easier to have those boundaries. When you're speaking your truth, you call in your tribe. They help you also keep good boundaries. They keep you aligned with your truth. So we start to see how each chakra, when each one comes into alignment, it supports the other ones. And so if you're finding that like your water, your emotional relationships, your inner emotions are quite turbulent, the most important thing is to find a way to feel safe in whatever way that is for you. That could be creating a really nice home space. It could be maybe changing up your relationships a little bit. It could even be just changing your clothes, to feel more safe in your physical skin. So noticing what that is for you to align your water. With the earth element, we have the root chakra and grounding in your values. Coming into alignment with the earth, as I mentioned, water and earth are a little bit more denser energies than the fire and the air. So coming into alignment with earth can take the longest time, but lasts the longest for us in our lives. And this analogy can come through as a home. It can take a while to align with where you want to have your home, possibly building your home or decorating your home, but then you have a beautiful space to be in for a long time. And so that's the alignment expectation of how long it takes to align. And this is super mirrored in my life. I started speaking my truth and sharing it in quite a, calm, simple way, with blog posts and social media posts, speaking more about it with people. And then I started to come more into my fire, into my soul purpose about it, and getting more structure, that masculine energy, providing the structure around it. And then I came into the water, getting really emotionally connected with it and finding a way to feel safe in creating so much and gifting it to the world. And that's when I came into the earth element. And it mirrors kind of birth in many ways, like the downward movement of energy, and then birthing something into the world, like a business or having a family, or just a rebirth of self. Then when we come all the way down into the earth element, then we start to create physical things from our soul purpose, from speaking our truth. So this can be money, community, changing our values can come through with that as well. And then feeling strong and grounding in your values. So it's like you're a new kind of tree that grows up. And as you can imagine with energetic alignment, if you align your thoughts, that's kind of a lighter energy. If you align your fire, it's a bit deeper. If you align your water, it's a bit deeper again. If you align your earth, it's so, so powerful, because then you're aligning your home space to your energy. You're aligning your financial structures to your energy. You're aligning your family that you bring into the world, or, you receive in the world, you create, with, your roots. And that lasts for a really long time and creates energetic alignment in many areas, in quite a denser way. And yeah, that's how we can work with the elements to come down through alignment. It is quite a journey. That's why the elemental medicine school is 3 months, to kind of give it an understanding of how it works and how to flow with that. It does take time. It is worth it. Oh my goodness, is it worth it to come into alignment? Which I'm sure you already resonate with if you're here watching this. With all of that said, with energetic alignment, polarities, how to work with your energy, the best first step, the best step in this present moment is to love where you are. And I love the way that fire, air, earth, and water can do that as well, because wherever you are is perfect. So there's always more to be done. It is a healing art to be happy where you are. The elements teach this in a fun, they teach this in a fun and subtle way. So yeah, they do teach it in a fun and subtle way, which I love so much, that for someone who's very much already rooted in their values, then their energetic alignment could come through as creating a store, like, or a retreat center, or writing a book. They're ready for that kind of physical alignment because their energy is that aligned. Where someone who's more, like when I started out, for example, I was more only comfortable aligning in the air. And so I created things then that felt comfortable in the air element, that were in energetic alignment. And I practiced and understood what energetic alignment felt like through that airiness, through that form of expression, because that's where I was comfortable. And so the message here is just, if you feel like, oh, I want to be in energetic alignment in my home and all the physical things and my clothes and etc., it's like, just take it one step at a time, meet yourself where you are, because this is the most stable approach to having a long-term effect. And because this is a lifetime, so if you this week you get a jumper that really aligns with your soul and makes you feel good, you maybe buy a book that resonates with you, and you tell someone, you have a nice meetup with someone and you tell them about your passions, or something that you have been breathing into that you feel is very true for you, those are wonderful steps to start to come into alignment. And if you are ready, if you've been doing this for a while and you feel like, yeah, I'm really ready to just, go into deeper levels of alignment, then possibly even buying a house is where your stage is at right now. Buying a house in a new neighborhood, looking into community living, what communities would you like to live with? So just noticing where you are and loving where that is, because you will never be there again. This is the only time you'll be there. And if you are working with yourself, with your energy, it's likely that you won't be there for long. So really enjoy it and soak it in. And have fun along the way as you come into alignment. So thank you so much for taking the time for watching. The webpage there linked is the Elemental Empress Medicine webpage. It has a blog on there. As I mentioned, I'm going to link one below. And that goes into fire, air, earth, and water in the different sections of the blog. So you can get an idea of what this medicine means, how it works. And you can also find out more about the school and card readings that I offer. And if you have any personal questions from watching this class, you can send them on to heal@elementalempressmedicine.com, and I will be back to you shortly. Have a beautiful day.